Here's my preview of the Miami and Georgia Tech game with a little surprise. It's a flashback to 1950s. Now here's the Miami fight song and some of our fans. This is Dan White, and I'm coming to you from Sanderlin's Nursery in Appling, Georgia, near my home. Sanderlins are good friends of ours, been good friends for many, many years, and this is such a beautiful place and a beautiful background for my video about the upcoming Miami at Georgia Tech game this Saturday, November the 12th, 2022, at 3:30 on the Bally Sports Network. Now you'll be hard pressed to find this game on TV because the Bally Sports Network is hard for me to find, at least it is for me. I've included a few highlight clips of this Georgia Tech and Miami series at the end of my narrative, so stay with me. Oh, I'll also have some stuff on their very first meeting, which took place back in the mid-50s. Saturday will be the 37th meeting between these two teams. Miami has won 13 and Tech has won 13. Miami is coming into this game with a disappointing record of 4 wins and 5 losses. But the Humble Bumbles have had such a disappointing season that their head coach, Jeff Collins, was fired after 4 games this season after going 1-3. He was 10-28 in 3.5 seasons at Georgia Tech. Tech is one of the worst programs in the country, but as bad as they've been this year, they've recently looked better under interim coach Brent Key. They came from behind to beat Virginia Tech and, of course, had that huge upset of number 24 Pitt. Tech appointed offensive coordinator Brent Key as interim head coach. Now, Key has never been a head coach. On his first game, Key's Jackets went to Pittsburgh and beat them. It stunned the college football world. Tech was a 23.5 point underdog. 23.5 points. It was the 3rd biggest upset in the ACC in the last 25 years. Now here are a few clips from that stunner.
First down, this is Hall, and he will step out at one, bang off another, and Hassan Hall now into the Pitt secondary, and Jeff Sims trying to help him out. Did Hall get to the house? No, ruled out of bounds at the 10.
Some nice stuff formationally to create blocks. Couple of offensive linemen, one offensive lineman, one tight end out front. Jeff Sims made an impact in that one. He has been excellent, already 6 tackles.
Vincent Davis for the injured Israel Abanikanda, and the ball fumbled, but did he hit the ground first? Georgia Tech says they have it. They do at the 34-yard line.
Now the Yellow Jackets went on to beat Duke, who beat Miami pretty bad. They also beat Virginia Tech in a squeaker 28-27, but they've lost to Virginia and were blown out by FSU. They're playing the Canes after that 1-point victory over the Virginia Cavaliers. Now these two teams, Tech and Miami, first met in Atlanta on September the 17th, 1955. They were led by two coaching legends, Bobby Dodd from Georgia Tech and Andy Gustafson for Miami. Gustafson is one of the winningest coaches in Miami history. He led the team to 93 victories. His 1954 team went 8-1 and ended the season ranked number 6 in the nation. He was inducted into Miami's Hall of Fame in 1985. His star player was quarterback Sam Scamaccia, and here's a video from the Miami Sports Hall of Fame that tells you all about Sam.
When you think of the current line of great Miami quarterbacks, it's their passing ability that comes to mind. But in the mid-1950s, it was the ability to pass and run that made Sam Scarnecchia one of the Hurricanes' all-time best signal callers. Miami Hall of Fame center Stitch Very remembers that Scarnecchia was a perfect fit for the team's offensive style.
He was a drive series option type quarterback, and that's what they ran here, and their passing game was primarily an action type pass, which they made famous starting in 1954, and it went all the way through Frank Kersey's year up to 1958.
It was an offensive attack that worked well for Scarnecchia and the Hurricanes, who achieved a final ranking of number 6 in the 1956 AP poll. Scarnecchia headed up what may be the most acclaimed backfield in Hurricanes football history, with 3 other members already in the Hall of Fame.
His backfield consisted of Whitey Revere, Don Bossler, and Jack Losh, which was pretty fast company. And although those individuals could do a lot of things, you still had to have someone lead him to the line of scrimmage and make sure that he executed properly to carry out the game plan that was given to him. And Sam certainly did that. And as far as throwing the ball, Sam had a better than average arm as well.
Scarnecchia's roommate at Miami, Canes Hall of Fame running back Don Bossler.
Sam was an excellent leader. Again, he called the plays, defensive signals in the secondary, and we looked up to Sam. He was a guy's guy. We had a lot of fun with him, but when we got in the football field, it was all business.
Scarnecchia led the team in scoring in 1956 with 42 points, and in his senior season, despite the running attack, he still passed for 842 yards and 3 touchdowns. But Scarnecchia has one attribute that the latest Miami quarterbacks can't claim. He also played defense, starting every game at strong safety his senior year.
Sam went both ways, offensively and defensively. We had a two-platoon system, and he called the defensive signals in the secondary. He was a strong safety. And a quarterback that probably threw maybe 10 times during the ball game, not like a Bernie or a Vinny or a George, but he had a good completion ratio. And he ran we ran the belly series, which was an option delay to the remaining back, which was the fullback in this case, me. And he was tough. He was a good runner. He was a good, solid quarterback.
When his playing days were over, Scarnecchia went into coaching, and it was no one other than Stitch Very who gave Sam his first job at Curley High School.
So I started asking Coach Gustafson, who highly recommended him, and Walt Krzyzewski. I remember Walt saying to me, yes, he's a fine lad. He says, little bullheaded at times, but a good technician. And I told him, I said, well, he seems to be my kind of a guy, not a yes man. And when he graduated, and Sam always reminds me that he graduated on time and in 4 years, I became the head coach at Curley High School and invited Sam to come over and help us coach a good football team.
Sam went on to coach on Coral Gables High's 2 national championship teams, and today is assistant principal at South Miami High School. Entering the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame, Sam Scarnecchia.
Oh, by the way, Scamaccia also played strong safety on defense. He never came out of the game. What a difference in today's game when players are rotated in and out after practically every series to keep them fresh. Now, in the last 12 meetings, Miami has won 8, including last year's 33-30 victory in Coral Gables. Their largest margin of victory was a 45-30 win in 2013. Miami is coming off a humiliating 45-3 loss to FSU and has failed, and this is so painful to say, Miami has failed to score a touchdown in the past 9 quarters. If our offensive coordinator, Josh Gaddis, can't fix his offense, Tech has the potential to embarrass, I mean really embarrass, Miami again. On the other hand, the Yellow Jackets are coming off a cliffhanger win over Virginia Tech, 28-27. Against FSU, Tech lost big, 41-16, but that was not nearly as bad as Miami being humiliated by the Noles, 45-13. Tech has 1,284 yards this season rushing and 1,670 passing yards for a total of 2,954 yards. Now, Gaddis' offense has 1,276 yards rushing and 2,394 yards passing for a total of 3,678. So statistically, Miami has by far the most potent offense, but they just can't score touchdowns. Just can't do it. So, who will win? Can Miami reverse its downhill slide and win this one? Or will the Jackets worsen Miami's woes with a victory at historic Grant Field? Vegas favors Tech by 2. That's not surprising. Certainly, Miami is a more talented team. A much more talented team. The problems, as I see it, are a lack of effort by many players. And there's not much Coach Cristobal can do about it because the bench is so thin. But if it were me, I'd bench the slackers even if it meant playing the walk-ons. So let me ask you, what would you do? Play the walk-ons? If some on the team aren't performing? Well, that's certainly what I would do. Now, the other problem, of course, is Josh Gaddis. His play calling inside the red zone and his play calling on 3rd and 4th on short yardage situations lack much to be desired. Gaddis insists on running the ball between the tackles time after time after time on short yardage situations. And time after time after time, Miami gets stopped. You know the definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Why Gaddis doesn't call an RPO or a short pass to a back out of the backfield, I'll never know. How about you? You know what's going on? I don't. Good grief. Good grief, Josh Gaddis. Well, that's my pregame of the Miami and Georgia Tech game. I want to thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Canes. And now a few clips from past games.
With pressure coming backside, hit, ball to the ground, kicked off, heading toward the end zone. Shaquille Quarterman with a Miami defensive touchdown. Downfield to get their touchdown that no doubt built some confidence. Thomas gets tackled up, falls on the ground again. Are you kidding me? Joe Jackson with another Miami defensive touchdown.
Homer got to the edge, still on his feet. And Homer down to the 20-yard line.
Morris to Hearns, and that's a first down. Hearns has one man to beat. Dorsett with the block and Hearns in for the touchdown.
Presley Harvin set to punt for Georgia Tech. Returnable by Berrios. Makes a nice cut. And into Georgia Tech territory.
In their first drive, scored on their first 2 drives to open the game. They'll go trick-or-razzle with an open man, Rambo. He's got it behind that secondary, and Rambo lost the football at the end of the play again.
Corey Gaynor.
And Knighton will finish off the drive and take it into the end zone.
Well, that's going to do it for my Georgia Tech and Miami preview for Saturday. I hope that you enjoyed it and were entertained.